Hello YouTube pedal friends. I call you nerds because you sit in front of a computer and watch some German bald guy talk about pedals. But then again, how much of a nerd am I to be the bald guy talking about pedals? Well, I said I would do a couple of pedal board builds, and I'm gonna have a pedal train style pedal board in a nice box coming soon. So I thought I'd start with a very cool concept, which is it's called the RD3 thingy. So the whole thing is in a nice slim case with attached wheels on the back. I'm going to show you how that works, so you can actually just take the wheels off. And then you take the lid off. You know, many pedal boards are like this. And inside it comes already with Velcro on the bottom and actually Velcro for your pedals included, which is very nice. One of the problems with this design is it doesn't have holes or anything for the pedals, so the pedals will have to be on top of the board, which also is kind of normal. Now I'm starting to see that knowing a few things about pedals, and I say a few because I really don't know too much, it's not enough to do pedal board videos. So we will have to learn together. There'll be a whole series of them, and this is step number 1 in showing you how not to do it. So I put together some cool pedals that I thought would be good for this size and this style of board, which is probably, I'm gonna call it, you know, enthusiastic amateur. No, probably not semi-pro, because then you would have one way where everything is tucked away. But with this kind of board, you can do, you know, 8 to 10 pedals probably. I will try to do a looper switcher on every single one because it's a lot more convenient and they're not too expensive, so that even an inexpensive pedal board could use it. And I'm gonna take this apart to show you what my plan was, but I'm gonna take the camera down now and actually show you what happened in the end, which means the cable nightmare, which is where it comes in. Your cables need to be there, and that's the problem. Cables are expensive. Don't buy cheap cables. You got the good guitar, you got the good amp, you got the crappy cables. What's the point? But you need the right cable length, and I'm going to show you how this board looks done completely wrong. Okay, so here I am. Hello. So here's our empty board. Already has Velcro on it, which is very nice. And this is how I was thinking. We're gonna do a not quite so simple board, but a concept that I thought about. We're gonna go with a 4-loop switch, and I have 2 presets at my disposal at any point in time. I can of course change the bank, and but we're not just going to use 4 pedals. Now of course something that would be nice on every pedal board just to have it is a wah pedal. Now this isn't huge, but we're going to use it anyway. So we're going to put the wah pedal here. And I even had a Morley volume pedal on the other side, totally forgetting that I need to get to the input. So I need to somehow get an angled cable which should still fit onto the input here. So that's kind of good. Every pedal board needs a delay, and I picked the Joyo D-Seat because it's inexpensive and awesome. I have 3 students who have one and they're all really happy. And I'm putting this on the front so that you can tap it and switch the AB. The D-Seat will be in loop number 4 after everything. This setup, by the way, is... Can you still... Hello? This setup, by the way, is for a clean amp. So nothing is going into the loop of the amp. We're getting all of our drives and our distortion from the pedal board. So you pick a clean amp, can be 1 channel, pick a nice clean tube amp, put this whole board in front of it. So in this regard, it's an easy setup. So then my idea was, in loop number 3, I'm building a clean sound. So all the pedals will always be on, And you switch to it and there's your clean sound. And for that, I'm taking the more yellow comp, which is amazing. Alternatively, you could also pick the Joyo Pipe Bomb, which is a very nice compressor, but this so far has been my favorite. You know, get the EQ up nicely, compress, and you just have a spanking clean sound. Then a nice clean sound needs a chorus. We're gonna take the Joyo Analog Chorus because it's smaller than the classic chorus. And the classic chorus, they sound very, very similar. So I'm gonna go for a smaller size here. And a clean sound needs a reverb, so no delay here. We're gonna pick the shim verb on the spring mode, okay? Also from Moore. So in these three, we automatically can, with these nice little connectors, which saves you a lot of money on cables, and I think they should be high enough quality. Hey Congo, what you doing? Come Congo. You eating Bruno's treat? That's not nice. So, okay, kind of like that. So this would be our clean sound. So when we go to, you know, setting B, it would only be loop number 3 on, and it's going straight through these 3 pedals, which will all be on, and that is kind of like a preset we built for clean. A little bit of reverb, nice spank and compression, some chorus, which of course you could turn off and then you only have these 2, but we're gonna see this as a block in this loop. And then I'm gonna use these 2 for drive. So for my main drive, one of my all-time favorites, the Jetta Gold Standard, which of course has the helium side for a nice slight overdrive sound. It has the gold side for a lot more gain, and when you put them both together, you've got a screaming lead. So this can also be seen as a preset depending on what you're playing in the song. Just pick this side, or both together. So this can actually be seen as 3 different distortions in one. And I'm going to put this right there. Now, I want to go in different directions with my second loop. And I'm going to pick the Joyo Blue Rain from the Iron Man series and the Wild Boost. The Blue Rain is very, very low overdrive, beautiful for open chords, kind of similar to what the Helium would give you, but you can of course have it on a different setting. And the Wild Boost goes in the direction of a fuzz. When you crank it up, it gets very fuzzy, but still not big muffish. So this will give us a different kind of color for, you know, power chords, kind of like a little bit more muddy and fuzzy, which is cool. And I'm putting these together in the same loop, and which means depending on the song, you turn on one of the 2, but that also means we have to have access to them with our feet. So we're gonna smack them right here. And then this. So I read up on buffers because in my 24 years of playing guitar, I have no idea what a buffer does. So I read up on it and everyone says you should use them. Which pretty much means the buffer goes behind the guitar, or in this case actually goes behind the wah pedal, because I heard that it's important. And what you do is pretty much, it improves your guitar signal. It keeps the quality of your signal. There was something about impedance, and don't ask me because I have no idea about this stuff. But I checked it yesterday with only this and 2 pedals behind it, so a very, very, very simple setup, and it did sound clearer and better. Don't ask me why. I don't give a flying rat's ass. It just does. So what you do is, before you go into any of these pedals, you go into the buffer and out, and through the whole board. And then you go back into the buffer and out on the outside. So there's actually buffers for input and output. So 2 different buffers from different companies you can buy. This one has both built in. And it also, as an added bonus, on the input side to the whole pedal board, it's got a boost. so you can crank it and just push your whole pedal board a little bit more if you wanted to. But that's not mainly why we're using it. We're using it to keep our guitar signal clean. And, just high quality. So we're going to put this somewhere where, it's not in the way. So technically, that's a good idea, right? So we get the gold standard in loop 1, which I could combine with a delay as a preset. So these two would be on, and I click A and I've got the gold standard and my delay as a beautiful lead sound. And then I hit B, which goes to loop number 3, which would be my clean sound. So one step of a button and I switched 5 pedals. Now how cool is that? I think it's pretty damn cool. On loop number 2 I would have these two guys. And depending on the song I can switch between the wild boost and the blue rain. So pretty much before the song you pick your preset, but then you just switch, with these buttons. Very simple little looper, costs you about 50-60 bucks. Great setup, put the lid on, everything done. Well, not quite. You need power, right? Well, we could use this Joyo power supply too, which looking at the size is probably a good idea. We could use the Carl Martin, but in this case I'm thinking the Joyo is smaller. We probably need a little bit more power to see which outputs we use. I have to read up on that, which one has a little bit more power. So we could probably put that there. The nice thing about this power supply is it lights up with 10 LEDs, which actually kind of illuminate your pedal board, which is nice. But now we get to the problem area, which is we have to put cables on this puppy. And we need to go in the back here. Okay, so the result will be, well, I'm gonna show you the result, which is why this is a big fail for now. So now after you've seen what we wanted to do, and we have a nice layout here, the problem is this. I cabled it, and as you can see, because I can't tuck the cables away, and I don't even have the right cable length to tuck them away because I've got 30 centimeter cables, which look like this, with the nice angled connector. The big problem with this is they are standing up here. So I actually need cables that have an angled connector on one side and a straight connector on the other side. And even then, these are too long for this length. They are too short for others. I needed a cable where I only had a straight connector here, which really eats up the space. Again, straight connector here because that cable is longer and that eats up space, and I can't really move it anywhere. So this is all, as I would call it, bullshit. You need to get the right cables. If you cannot find the right length and the right connectors, you have to make them yourself. If you want a clean pedal board, this is not the way to do it. See, what am I going to do with this? I'm connected here, which is all nice with the shortest cables possible, but I can't even get to these pedals here. So this is not the way to do it. Plus, notice, I don't even have power yet. Okay, so add to that the mess from the power cables, and then we have to find a way to actually get all these onto the pedal board somehow, tie them down, which isn't going to be that easy. So this is going to be an engineering test for me. How do I do this? So far, epic fail. Yeah, so you've seen the problem. When it's all wired up, even without the power, it just is not really usable. You're gonna get entangled in the cables, and I don't really see a good way to tie them down. So possibly I put too much stuff on here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pedals, and the wah, and the looper, and the power supply. Might be too much for this space to adequately wire it up. What I'm thinking is I simply just have the wrong cables. Okay, these little connectors are great. They save space and cable. But I just think from the looper to these to the pedals, I need the correct length. So it might very well be that for a pedal board built like this, you actually have to manufacture all the cables in the correct length yourself. Please comment, please help, because I'm kind of lost on how to do this. So for now, fail.